So you're never going to believe this, right? But because I've been writing so much about Brooklyn and Nicola, they've only gone and blocked me on Instagram.
I think that the use of Instagram in this whole story is incredibly interesting.
A family built its brand on public love, just went silent online. That's not nothing. That's strategy. Today, we'll decode how captions, non-posts, and quiet unfollows told the real story, ending with the one tiny edit that flipped the narrative. Quick challenge. Does a missing birthday post matter more than a private call? Comment posts or presents, and why?
They went official on Instagram, which is basically telling the world they are together and they're delighted that they're together. And David and Victoria are obviously, you know, the first to congratulate them. And so the Instagram loving came to an end between Nicola and Victoria. But they still managed to keep an element of a relationship with their son. The Beckhams didn't wish them a happy wedding anniversary, which for the Beckhams is unheard of.
What's really interesting about this was that Brooklyn posted a picture to his Instagram story. That post was only up for a couple of minutes before he then took it down, he deleted it, and reposted the exact same image with a different caption that then thanked his in-laws, Nicola's mum and dad.
In modern celebrity families, the feed isn't decoration, it's declaration. Posts confirm alliances, captions set tone, and silence becomes a statement headlines can't match. When a family built on public affection stops performing affection, it isn't random, it's a message with real stakes for relationships and brand equity alike. The smartest way to read it is rhythm first. Watch what gets posted, what doesn't, and how that cadence shifts around milestones. Silence speaks loudly. Don't judge any single post. Log patterns across time, pre-milestone, during, post-milestone, and only conclude when at least 3 independent signals align. Imagine a calendar where birthdays bloom into paragraphs, anniversaries into essays, and launches double as love letters. That's the baseline. A reliable drumbeat of public devotion that turned private milestones into public rituals. When that drumbeat falters, the change isn't cosmetic, it's structural, because audiences have been conditioned to expect celebration as content. Break the ritual, and you broadcast a new reality, intentionally or not. Baselines matter. Before diagnosing a riff, archive a representative sample of past posts around key dates. Compare today's behavior to that historical norm to separate true deviation from random variance. What does it really mean when a celebration caption appears, vanishes, then returns crediting different people? Credit is alignment. Timing is intent. A tiny edit can realign loyalties more forcefully than a 10-minute interview because it rewires who gets public gratitude and who doesn't. On platforms where every word is deliberate, the smallest revision is a loud reroute. Edits reveal loyalties. Capture first and final versions of any high-stakes caption, note timestamps, and ask 2 questions. Who was elevated and who was excluded? Then corroborate with at least 2 additional signals before calling the shift. In a family that treats birthdays like state occasions, a missing public tribute isn't an oversight, it's a rupture in ritual. Audiences notice because the brand trained them to notice. The absence lands where a carousel usually lives. Within this context, no post becomes a measurable act, not mere forgetfulness, especially when it clusters with other silences. Rituals define meaning. Flag all historically consistent must-post dates and apply a rule of 3. 1 missed ritual equal anomaly, 2 equal concern, 3 plus a related caption shift equal narrative change worth reporting with care.
Victoria Beckham's 51st birthday, and Brooklyn again fails to post anything, any recognition of his mum's birthday. I remember saying to Katie at the time that he's got to post something, it's his mum's birthday. I think once again, Brooklyn very much knew what he was doing and getting that message across. Something has happened here, I'm not happy, and I'm not going to publicly say happy birthday to my mum.
Following day, David releases a series of pictures of this boys' fishing trip. This break took place 2 days before the big family party in the Cotswolds. And he posted saying, "Miss you at Brooklyn Beckham." I couldn't find her, and neither could Brooklyn. They've blocked me. That was a real middle finger up to me. Yeah, so I don't think they're fans of mine. I think the Beckhams have accepted that they've probably lost their son, which is obviously devastating for them.
Milestone weeks act like floodlights. They expose what the everyday shadows hide. A 50th birthday in this family should read like a festival of gratitude, yet the public feeds offered little more than static. That contrast reframes the relationship timeline because silence around a milestone isn't ordinary, it's intentional, or at minimum, acknowledged. When the biggest day goes unamplified, the message isn't subtle. Milestones magnify silence. For any high-stakes date, chart a plus-minus 7-day window of posts, stories, tags, and comments. Compare against prior milestone cycles to determine whether you're seeing an anomaly or an inflection point. Picture a serene carousel. Lakes, lines, laughter, ending on 2 soft words, miss you. In a brand that usually communicates with exclamation points, a lowercase a functions like a press statement with plausible deniability. The meaning isn't in the phrase, it's in the timing, the tag, and what didn't appear anywhere else that week. When private fixes fail, subtle captions do the heavy lifting in public. Context is king. Log the caption's timestamp, who's tagged, who isn't, and proximity to skipped events. Then weigh it only alongside at least 2 corroborating signals before inferring intent. Every fracture has a final before photo, the last frame where everything still looks normal. Identify that moment and you gain a reference point for drift. Who stood where, who promoted what, and which cross-family nods appeared. Once you mark the final harmony, subsequent deviations become measurable rather than emotional. Nostalgia is data when sequenced correctly. Drift leaves tracks. Pin the last full family appearance, list each relationship cue in that post, tags, comments, captions, and build a timeline forward, noting which cues fade first. Early fade patterns often predict longer rifts. 1 no-show is noise. A dozen is narrative. Attendance is a quantifiable signal in families that monetize presence, and repeated absences convert speculation into structure. Instead of fixating on a single headline moment, tally the simple ledger: invites, sightings, acknowledgements, and posts. When the count tilts the same way across multiple contexts, you're no longer chasing gossip. You're charting behavior. Patterns prove points. Create a 2-column tracker, event versus public signal, attended, mentioned, tagged, or ignored, and score each 0 to 2. When the trailing 4-event average stays under 0.5, treat it as a sustained cooling, not a blip. One screenshot isn't the story. Treat public feeds like rough field notes, useful, incomplete, and noisy without context. Build a simple practice, baseline past behavior, timestamp new signals, and apply a rule of 3 before forming conclusions. Label your certainty: possible, probable, confirmed, and only upgrade when fresh, independent evidence arrives. Triangulate before you speculate. For any celebrity rift, keep a 30 to 90-day log of rituals kept, credit shifts and captions, and attendance or tagging at milestones. If all 3 trend in the same direction, your inference is likely robust. Sometimes the loudest moment is a 5-word change in a caption. Switching credit from parents to in-laws isn't grammar. It's gravity, pulling the center of loyalty to a new orbit. Small edits, big consequences. In grand, heavy families, public gratitude is currency. Where it's spent reveals alignment more honestly than any interview. The initial version tells intent. The revision tells resolve. Edits echo loudly. Capture first post versus final post versions on high-stakes dates and note who is newly centered, who is conspicuously absent, and how fast the change occurs. Rapid pivots usually signal deliberate repositioning. When a public figure tightens access, blocks a reporter, limits tags, closes comments, is that emotion or strategy? In high-visibility families, access is a lever. Restrict it, and you shrink the number of competing storytellers while signaling loyalty to the inner circle. Unfollows, comment limits, and selected reposts aren't random hygiene, they're message discipline with plausible deniability. Control isn't silence, it's curation. Control signals shift. Track access moves in a simple log and note any synchronized pivots. Correlation across 2 or more levers usually marks intentional repositioning. If decoding signals beats chasing headlines, tap like so more people see context over chaos. Then drop a comment. Which spoke loudest? Anniversary edit, birthday silence, or miss you? A missing post isn't courtroom proof of estrangement. Some families keep contact off-grid, especially during negotiations, health issues, or image resets. Digital minimalism can be a cooling period, a PR hold, or a legal precaution, not always a rupture. Treat the grid as a loud clue, not a verdict. Absence isn't proof. Triangulate before concluding. Look for third-party sightings, travel overlaps, shared team members, or coordinated releases within plus/minus 14 days. Require at least 3 independent signals: attendance, tagging, and timing to move from possible rift to probable rift. Explanations that don't fit the calendar collapse under scrutiny. When a stated reason conflicts with who actually attended or where people actually were, the credibility cost is steep. Convenient alibis often hide discomfort, not logistics. Timelines don't lie. Run a 2-step test. Chronology check, map dates, locations, and attendees from multiple sources, and consistency check. Scan for contradictions across interviews and captions. If 2 or more contradictions surface, downgrade the explanation and upgrade the weight of observed behavior. Is the shrinking circle healthy boundary setting or a slide into isolation? When old friends disappear from mentions and only partner-adjacent ties remain, the echo grows louder and the feedback gets riskier. Tight circles intensify alignment but reduce corrective signals, making public breaks more likely and reconciliations slower. Circles shape choices. Map the social graph every 30, 60, 90 days, recurring friends, family nodes, industry contacts. Note who's faded, who's constant, and who's new. If diversity of ties declines while conflict signals rise, expect harder stances and longer cooldowns. Celebrity families don't just sell products, they sell a feeling: unity, warmth, reliability. When that promise cracks, sponsors reassess risk, campaigns get re-edited, and nostalgic storytelling replaces present tense togetherness. The cost isn't only emotional, it's commercial, because family harmony has been part of the value proposition from day one. Watch how language softens: support, privacy, healing, as the brand shifts from celebration to containment. That's not random copy, that's risk management in real time. Optics drive value. Track brand pivots, solo endorsements replacing group campaigns, careful phrasing in press blurbs, and selective throwbacks. 3 or more in short succession signals an active damage control arc.
A caption can move inventory. A tag can redirect millions of impressions. When alignment changes, so do launches, affiliate pushes, and who amplifies whose product in the critical 24-72-hour window. If one node stops boosting another, conversions fall, partners notice, and contract language gets tighter. In a world where attention is currency, public warmth is payment. That's why silence is cost. Alignment monetizes. Build a deal ledger, log sponsored posts, cross tags, swipe ups, and discount codes pre-post rift. If assist rates, reposts, or mentions within 48 hours drop below historical averages, expect renegotiations or staggered solo drops. Public rifts rarely heal with a grand speech. They thaw through tiny, deniable gestures. A quiet like, a neutral birthday emoji. A group shot where both appear center left and center right without commentary. Then come soft comments, limited reposts, and one low-stakes co-appearance before any all-is-well narrative lands. It's choreography, not coincidence. Bridges come small. Watch for micro-bridges in sequence. Passive engagement, neutral acknowledgements, shared attendance, collaborative mention. 3 in order within 60 days suggests a controlled reconciliation track. Are you analyzing or projecting? The difference is method. Treat feeds like field notes, timestamps, baselines, ritual breaks, corroboration. Avoid single screenshot certainty and confirmation bias. If it only fits when you ignore the calendar, it doesn't fit. The point isn't to pick villains, it's to map incentives and behaviors over time, patterns over passion. Use a 3-rule protocol. Require 3 independent signals before concluding, cross-check dates and locations across multiple sources, and label outcomes as possible, probable, or confirmed, and upgrade only when new evidence clears your own threshold.